Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now you may have seen references online to events called minis, and you might be wondering exactly what they are. We've seen references online to minis all across the United States, Australia, Europe, etc. So they are really worldwide events. And what they are is small, intimate little events where people can get together to learn new features about products, to learn new ways of doing things, maybe X-Lights and FPP, to meet like-minded people, build up friendships, and overall just to have a good time. This weekend has seen the Elf Mini here in the United Kingdom. The European lighting fanatics get together once a year to have their own little social event before the season really gets underway, and also to learn some bits and bobs along the way as well, and finally to raise some money for charity. I went along yesterday to the Elf Mini, and we're going to go through it today on this video to show you exactly what it does, what it is, what it does. Now on arrival, the first thing that we got is a goodie bag like this, which had a number of prizes and unusual things inside. So let's have a look. What did we get in the kit? Well, first of all, we got some sweets or candy. There were some gingerbread men as well, but I've eaten those. Some Haribo and candy cane. We've got a Baldric Input 1 board, kindly sponsored by I Like That. So we had an Input 1 board, and we have a little case here to put it in that was sponsored by ourselves here on the Greg Mackery channel. And to go with the Input 1, we've got a button, an input, and some cabling to bring it all together. We've also got a little power cable to get power from a USB plug and take it through to the barrel jack on the Input 1. We've got a do-it-yourself name badge if we didn't have one from last year. A balloon. A paddle for bidding at the auction at the end of the evening. And last of all, we've got a couple of these little mementos called groats, which are little beer tokens. So there is a bar at the event, and each one of these tokens will buy you a drink, and you can of course pay cash if you want to keep these as souvenirs. So good little haul there in our goodie bag this year. Now the event itself was hosted at a new location this year at the Quality Hotel in Coventry. And we saw members from across Europe attending, so not just the UK. We had a couple of guys over from Ireland and a couple of guys over from the Netherlands as well. So it was really great to see a more expanding coverage coming across to the event. The event was hosted by the dastardly duo of Dom and John. Dom Hodgson of I Like That fame and John Fulligar, his able sidekick, have been working together as a duo on the Elf group now for quite a number of years, and they really do a great job of standing up and hosting the event. They're both quite happy in front of an audience, acting the fool, and they do the job really, really well. First presentation this year was on the Baldric Input board, which was in the goodie bag, of course, and Dom and John ran through setting up the input board, connecting up the buttons and making it all work and do something. Sadly, there were some technical difficulties with the FPP instances running on Docker, I think, and it was all messing about, so we couldn't quite get it to work, but we proved that the Input 1s were working. There were just some connectivity gremlins. Following Dom and John with the presentation on the Input 1, we had Kathy come up and give us a bit of X-Lights training on submodeling. In the UK, we don't have the massive real estate of you guys in the US and Australia, so we have to try and make more use of the props that we have in limited spaces. So Kathy was busy going through her fine work that she does on the Hatitude props, for example, and how she can get many, many different submodels onto those things to make them do all sorts of different things through not only Christmas but Halloween, to name but a few. I think Remembrance she also spoke about as well, which is like Veterans Day in the US. And she has specific models on the Hatitude for each one of those events. She'd created hands-on worksheets so you could sit down and draw out your worksheets to work out exactly what your submodels are going to be. A really good presentation, so well done, Kathy, on that one. Because everybody had been sat down for a little while through the first two presentations, John then got the blood moving again with a team workout, where everyone had to stand up and strike a pose of either a tree, a snowflake, which became a yai-yai, or indeed a candle. John, who was then facing the wall, would strike a pose, and if you matched, then you were out. And this went round several rounds until there was just one person left, who happened to be John's fiancée, Sarah, which caused some hilarity and shouts of fix. Next up, we were back onto training, and it was myself with an update on FPP 9. So going through some of the new features, some of the changes, including the multiple matrix options when you're using color lights. That brought us up to lunchtime, and after a lovely buffet lunch, which was included as part of the ticket price, we went on to a team competition where each team, which was each table, got to build a tree. The tables were each given a bag of parts to build the tree with, and the competition was to build the second largest tree. So it was an interesting one because everybody can go straight on and build a massive tree, but trying to build the second largest one. Not long after everybody had got started with the components provided, there was an alarm, and all of a sudden the rules changed. You weren't allowed to only use the stuff in the bag provided, you could use anything that you could get your hands on. And so there were people scurrying about all around the hotel trying to find step ladders and brooms and all manner of things. And it was a great, fun few minutes. Another presentation was next up from Sean and Jackie, who have been in the hobby for only a few years now, 4 or 5 years. But they've really taken it to heart, and it's become a way of life for them and their family rather than simply putting up a show at Christmas. They're really growing and growing every year, and they've demonstrated how they started with just a basic tree in 2020 and moved on to a massive display that they've got now. And they're going one step further this year. They haven't really got a lot of room for much else, but they've decided to move things about, and they're putting up the first yai-yai flake from GE as part of their show this year. So they've been working on getting a big scaffold tower put together, going across part of the garage and all sorts to get this monstrous flake up and running. Next up, another quiz for a bit of fun. We had a few rounds this time, including guess the number of pixels on particular props, followed by rounds on guess the prop, where we just had images of the side of a prop or a corner of something or something like that, and many, many more. Great fun and really well done by David and Geroyd, who put that bit together. Going into the evening, we had the results of the best decorated tree competition. Now, in the run-up to the Mini, the attendees have been invited to purchase a particular type of tree from Build a Light Show, get it delivered, and then decorate it in their own unique ways before they came to the event and brought it to be judged. A fantastic level of fantastic standard of output was seen, and some really, really amazing ideas through basic decorated trees to adding baubles. One was turned into a guitar. One guy took it literally and then they said, we've got to use this type of tree. They didn't say we can't use 4 of them joined together to make one massive tree. And so that was his entry, 4 massive trees put together as a gonk, just to upset Dom, who doesn't like gonks. Brilliant. Well done, everybody. And the winner of that got to receive one of every type of I Like That Baldric board as their competition prize. And that was sponsored by I Like That, which was amazing. To wrap up at the end, we traditionally have an auction. Now, props are provided by Build a Light Show. They gather up all of their miscuts and stuff like that. That's only got slight damage, but it doesn't quite meet the grade for going out as a 100% prop. So things where the cut's gone slightly skew with, or something's not quite right. They gather them up and they bring them all over to the auction. We also get entries from, we had entries from I Like That, and we have lots of individuals bring props that they're no longer using or things that they've bought and then decided that didn't quite work. Lots of stuff, and we ended up with over 150 lots in the auction, which went on for a couple of hours at the end of the day, and really becomes a fun end to the show, with all the money raised going to charity. And it's a fantastic end to the evening. Everybody is in good spirits by the end. The bar's been open since mid-afternoon and everybody is well on their way to a happy evening. So it's a fantastic event, very light-hearted, lots of fun, banter, and you get to intermingle with all the friends that you've met on the weekly Elf Zoom calls. All of a sudden you can see that they've got legs, and even people coming up to me and saying, hey, he's got legs, or you were taller than I thought, you don't look that big on the camera. A brilliant day for everybody. Nearly everybody stayed over in the hotel afterwards, so nobody had to worry about driving home or anything like that. So great event, and if you haven't been to a mini yet, you definitely need to find one near you and get yourself over there. And once you've done minis, of course, you can then look to the bigger events like the Florida Mega Mini or even Christmas Expo, something like that. Brilliant places to go to meet people, to learn, and generally expand the hobby and more into friendships and things like that as well. So there we are, a quick intro to the Elf Mini that was held this weekend in the UK, in Coventry. Great fun evening, definitely a great fun day, definitely worth doing. And watch out for next year's dates, which will be announced fairly soon as I understand it. That's it from me. Have fun, take care. See you on the next one.